Hey, Dan here, and I'm really excited to make this video because I know the topic can have a huge impact on your life and happiness, especially if you're in the planning stages of your life. Maybe you're just going to or just leaving college or starting that second part of your life after divorce or retirement or something else. It's really important to focus on the right things with your life. Now, in another video, I talked about human needs psychology, and this is the driving needs many of us have. And I'll quickly recap that the four core needs that all people do something to meet is certainty or stability, uncertainty, variety or adventure, love, connection, basically human interaction, and significance. That's feeling special, feeling important, feeling unique. These are the four needs. Now, the majority of society, at least the United States society, and I would probably throw Canada in there as well, prioritizes and is driven by the need of certainty or stability and significance. Now, we can get into why that is. Perhaps the Great Depression, where people were going hungry and had so much uncertainty, maybe that led to our grandparents pushing this certainty, this need to be safe on us. Maybe the capitalist culture leads to this drive to feel important and rich that's from all the advertising. I don't know what it is, but the majority of people are driven by these needs. The thing is if you're watching this and you're a big fan of my channel, or a little fan who's going to become a big fan, I can almost guarantee that you're not driven by these two needs. You might think you are, you might be going down that track, but it's going to lead to huge levels of unhappiness. Now, I could even argue that for pretty much all human beings on Earth, being driven by the need for certainty and the need for status or significance, but status especially is a recipe for unhappiness. But that's another conversation, right? So if you are like an ENFP type, I work a lot with ENFPs and I'm one myself. When I was younger, I was acting, or maybe I was driven by status. At least that's what I thought. I had this, goal of living in a certain penthouse in the city and how much money could I make and these sorts of things. Now, I was trying to do it in good ways. I wasn't doing it immorally or anything, but I really focused on those sort of outcomes. And it's only been the last little while in my life when I've really realized and accepted like how little I care about that. Yes, I like to have nice wine or go for a good dinner, and I enjoy money. There's nothing wrong with money. I'm not an anti-money kind of hippie. But what I've realized is for me, money serves to meet my two needs. It's nothing to do with status or significance. And those needs for me, and probably for you if you were an ENFP, but I can't say for sure, are human connection, people, and uncertainty or variety. Yes, we have a need to feel significance and special as well. I would argue that as you become more mature, not necessarily through age, but emotionally mature, that need to feel special goes down just a little bit. It never goes away. But the need for human connection, I think, is a huge driver for ENFP. So if you look at a lot of our actions, they are either to right a wrong or an injustice, or our businesses might often be built around helping people, or we're doing something like there was a comment in one of my videos recently about becoming a doctor, which is not a good fit like for the person, but they're doing it because they want to be supporting their family and the family's so important and that sort of thing. So the human connection tends to be a huge driving force. I know for me, if I look at even most of my travel, I don't go to museums really. I'll look at an old church, but I'm not traveling to a new city to see their old church, which looks like this old church in the same city I'm in. I travel to other cities for people. This was often to meet with friends. So when I would travel, when I went to Argentina, it was to meet up with a friend who'd been going to university down in South America. When I went to New York, it was because a friend of mine lived there. A lot of my trips are always based on human connection and meeting with a friend. And when I was single, some of my trips were also based on meeting new friends. And this is really important to understand for yourself. And the reason is if you're buying into this need for money's sake, you're going to potentially go down the wrong path. And let's say you're finishing college or going into college for that matter, maybe more importantly, and you're looking at your options and you see, okay, I could become an accountant and I might earn $100,000. I don't know if I'd really like it. And if you're an ENFP, you won't like it. I can guarantee you that. But I don't really know if I'll like it, but I'll earn a lot more money and it's a good job. Like my parents will be proud of me and blah, blah, blah. And or I could go down this route and become like a social worker and work really with people. And that's what I think I'd like to do. I think I'd really like to help people. But it's not going to pay very well. It's only going to pay $50,000 a year, and it's not going to be, a good status job. People don't look at it with the same level of respect, even though they should. That's stupid that they don't. And you're making that decision. I can tell you right now, from a life satisfaction point of view, choosing the thing that meets your need for human connection and that you'll feel like you're contributing and doing good is going to lead to a much happier life. Now, we can get into social work because in most countries people are underpaid and there's so much frustration. It might actually not be a very satisfying job. I don't know. But if you look up life satisfaction indexes where they talk about the jobs where people tend to be happiest, most of them tend to be things around like human connection and helping people. Where if you look at the least happy jobs, a lot of them tend to be around things like marketing or law. And I do need to double check this list. I'm thinking back a few years here, but generally you're looking at things where there's not a real contribution. Like if you work in marketing and you just sell, like my first almost job would have been selling toilet paper, not door to door, but from a marketing perspective, that is not a good way to be satisfied. Like you can lie to yourself and be like, I help asses be comfortable with the softest toilet paper in the world, and if someone has a nice comfy ass, then they'll have a great day because they'll, be walking with pride and whatever. And that's what people do, right? They lie to themselves. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you're not really doing anything that will make the world any different except selling one slightly different toilet paper over the other. Whereas if you're working day in and day out and connecting with people on a one-on-one basis, if you're someone that values that connection, and I think if you're still watching, you probably do, then that's going to make the biggest difference in your life. So I would really encourage you to go down that route. Now, if we want to build on that and get all idealistic here, I'm also a believer that you can find a way to do something you believe in, something that contributes, and something that will involve that human connection that you want. And if you want, make a buttload of money and have some status with it as well. So it doesn't have to be an either or. You can definitely find ways, and there's also a lot of jobs that have a good status and pay well. A psychiatrist or psychologist may be one example, where they pay quite well, but you're helping people and working one-on-one with people, and it's a pretty good all-around gig. My big takeaway here is do not choose something over status. And with status, I include what your parents think. And your parents might hate me now, but if your parents say like, go, do this job because it's important for the family, that's status. That's your parents being driven by status, caring more about what other people think of them than they care about you. And you can make your judgment now how you want to live your life. If you want to go along with your parents' need to feel, status within their community, or your own happiness and satisfaction and ability to contribute to others through the duration of your life, that's your decision. But I think we both know what way will lead you to feel happier. And when you're 50, looking back on your life, what way you are most likely to regret. Which path, if you choose, you're going to look back and say, like, why did I do that? I've never really been happy. So just some thoughts there, some lighthearted thoughts. If you have a gut instinct to do something that you think will make you happy, that gut instinct is probably right. And if you're someone younger watching this, please follow that gut instinct, because my average client is not younger. I talk to a lot of people who are older and sometimes have made that choice where they went down a different path because they thought that's what they should do, or there was family pressure. And there's a lot of regret there sometimes where, what did I do? For 20 years, I was never happy with my work, right? So just something to keep in mind. Positive video from Dreams Around the World. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful or inspiring or encouraging or anything else, please subscribe to the channel. I'd love to have you with us, and catch you in the next video.